Episode 197 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our supporters. 197. We're getting close to 200. Originally, I'm like, that's a milestone because 200 mil experience. But you know what? That's not why it's a milestone. That's max level in MapleStory. And I think that's a way bigger deal, right? That was unbelievable. It's kind of easy story now, right? It's kind of like Easy Escape, but MapleStory, easy story. Doesn't quite work. Anyways, this episode is brought to you by our supporters. If you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/TheWildernessPodcast. Thank you to everyone who supports the show on Patreon, but thank you to our top tier supporters where you get a special shout out. So Gentinu, Splemo, Sejuan, Strosity, Mallard, Twisted Soul, J Blaz, Z Space, Chandler, Yay Fiber. Thanks everyone for supporting the show. But hey, you know what? If Patreon is not your thing, you can head on over to You can head on over to buymeacoffee.com/dills, where you can buy me a virtual coffee. And last but not least, thank you to our Discord server boosters. You guys are boosting us. We get a whole whack of cool stuff on our Discord server. So thanks to Bonehead, Battlestaff, Beefy Click, Chick, Hoyt, and Should've for boosting the server. Welcome to episode 197 of the Wilderness Podcast. I am Dills, and joined with me, as always, is Heartless. How are you doing?
Hey, not bad. How are you?
Good. So this is a bit of a quieter week. It's the calm before the storm. We got leagues dropping this upcoming Wednesday. So that's people are very much looking forward to that, myself included. I can't remember. Are you going to be doing leagues at all?
Hard to say. Still undecided. I think I'm going to give it a go. If anything, just for the podcast.
True. Yeah. I guess next. Are you still hooked on the next grind?
No, I will also talk about that this week.
Okay, great stuff. Just having fun all around on the account, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
All right. The other thing we got going is next changes and tweaks, of course, is kind of expected. Some people are up in arms about some of these changes, but we'll also get into that shortly. And of course, the other day, Jagex dropped this clip on us. All right, yeah, they dropped what they're calling Between Two Worlds teaser trailer, not to be confused with the 1944 American World War II fantasy drama, and also not to be confused with the Between Two Worlds French movie that's releasing later on this year. And apparently there's another movie called Between Two Worlds. I think it's Australian. I don't know. I couldn't find much. Anyways, popular name, Between Two Worlds. What is it is probably what a lot of people are asking. I have no idea. I think it's a song that they were collabing with a few people, but we will get into that in the news section. But kind of hyped for it. Pretty strange, but a lot of J-mods are hyping it up. Anyway, that's releasing tomorrow. Actually, it's releasing later today from when this comes out. But yeah, okay, that's what we got to look forward to. Heartless, what have you been up to? You got some.
Oh man,
sounds like you got some stuff to share.
No, I did nothing this week. So basically, we'll talk about the next nerfs, but I'm pretty disappointed with them. And after doing some math, it's pretty silly for me to do them right now.
Busted out the calculator. Yep, true. Okay.
We're talking like, I'll just give you some rough numbers. You know, like roughly 300 KC in a small team to see a drop now.
Okay.
Up from 240, which was already, you know, a pretty hefty grind. And you're looking at over 800 brews per unique achieved. So that's not great on an Iron Man. Like I PVM hard and I farm hard. And if I had the nests and I made all of my Toad Flax potions, I'd have about 5,000 brews.
It's like this weird drop rate where it's like, it seems like if you're in a team, you'll be able to see them. You can split each other out. You make some money. If you're an iron, yeah, good luck seeing drops in your name. It's a much bigger grind, it sounds like.
So anyway, I guess I'll talk a little bit more about my opinions on it when we actually talk about
we're just scratching the surface
changes and stuff. We're just kind of scratching the surface. But basically, it really put me off doing next.
Yeah, fair.
And yeah, it's pretty much it. I'm back to work this week, so I didn't have as much time as I did over the Christmas break. So I did a lot of mining, and I finally got 92 mining.
Nice. Oh, now you're up with me in they call it the pink prison.
I have a little bit more motivation to mine now, especially when I'm AFKing, because it equals supplies for me.
Okay.
Whereas before it was kind of just, a grind to get to where I needed to be.
They added this thing a while back called unidentified minerals that you get when you mine rocks in the mining guild. I think this is like a way to get people to come back to the mining guild because everyone was like, mining guild sucks. I can find better places elsewhere. So they went elsewhere. So they brought out, this unidentified minerals that you would get from only rocks in the mining guild. But if you get enough of them, you can get a pair of gloves, which basically what allows you to do is when you're mining a rock, there's a percentage that rock, you'll get an ore from it, but it won't deplete. So you can sit there and mine a few ores from it if you're lucky. But it's a kind of a big grind because you have to upgrade it twice so that it's usable with amethyst, but it does make it much more AFK. So yeah, kind of good to get if you're wanting to max mining at some point and you don't want to use motherload mining.
Yeah, so I'll probably stay in the prison until 99, honestly, because the supplies are really useful, especially the arrows. You really shred through them when you're using the MSB in the wilderness or the twisted bow. So I'll probably fill up the blowpipe with darts and then just start banging out the arrows.
Fun grind ahead of you.
Yeah, what about you? You've had anything exciting this week?
No, not quite. Yeah, not a whole lot happening on my end, but that's quite all right. I had something happen that kind of this is gonna circle to old school RuneScape. I promise. My wife ended up signing up for this thing called like a child safety kit online, and I wasn't really sure what it was. She wasn't really sure what it was either, but it sounds kind of cool. If it was supposed to be free, they sent it to you free if you're free. And one thing that's cool about being new parents, you get a lot of free shit. People just send you stuff, like companies. I think they want you to buy their brand of soap or their brand of diapers, but they send you a whole whack of stuff for free. And it's like pretty awesome. We just got a whole bunch of diapers. We got a whole bunch of soaps and like baby lotion stuff. Like we got a ton of stuff for free that just kept coming in the mail. It's really cool. You can sign up for all of these products and they just show up and you're like, maybe I'll buy the product. I don't know. But for now, I got this free stuff. So this child safety kit she signed up for. And then we had to go on a Zoom call with someone where they were going to show us the safety kit. And I was like, okay, interesting. Maybe there's like surgical equipment in it for like some really crazy stuff. If you need to like, a kid falls off like a playground, slices their head open and you got to stitch them up on the scene. I had no idea. So anyways, we got on the Zoom call and he shows us, and what it was like this pamphlet that you fill out with like up-to-date information about your child. And if they ever get kidnapped, then you have all this up-to-date information that you can send to the police, and they'll be like, he's got brown hair and he's 7 feet tall and he weighs 15 pounds, whatever it is, like whatever information you have on there. And they'll send out this, in Canada, it's called an Amber Alert, where they text everybody's phone. And then on Twitter, everyone decides to go on Twitter and complain about it. That's something else that happens. It was a little weird because at the very beginning, he was very, very friendly, like overly friendly. And I was like, okay, this guy's like really nice, where he's like, what kind of job do you do? Oh my God, dude, that's the coolest job I've ever heard. Wow, that's so amazing. Oh, I see you got a tattoo there. Can I see that tattoo? And I'm like, show him my tattoo. Dude, that's the nicest tattoo I've ever seen. Oh my God. And I was like, all right, man. Yeah, I mean, I like it. That's whatever.
Sounds like how I talk to 5-year-olds.
Yeah. So he was like, he talked to us up for like 15 minutes, and it's supposed to be only half an hour long. We hit the half an hour mark, and then he's like, okay, now there's a second part of this call, which is why we also set up the call, because we want to talk to you more about stuff. And then he's kind of like, starts asking you these loaded questions of like, so just like out of curiosity, if your newborn had cancer, it would be bad, right? You'd be probably not happy. You're like, yeah. And if something, God forbid, happened to your child, it would suck if you guys like, or something happened to you as parents and your child just wasn't well taken care of afterwards. That would kind of suck, right? And you're like, okay. He's like, well, okay. So, and he starts talking. And then as he starts talking about whatever this program thing he has, start realizing he's trying to sell us on health insurance. It's like, so this is like a whole health insurance scam. And I was like, wait, what the hell is this guy doing? He's like talking to, he's like, for like $200 a month, we get you covered. And if you guys pass away or if something happens, your kid's taken care of with all of this money and benefits afterwards and blah, 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 blah. And if you sign up now, you get a great deal right now. 10 years from now, when you guys get older, if you guys become, 30 years, 40 years in the future, your health insurance will go up if you don't already have it. But if you already have it, it stays the same. Basically, he wanted us to like sign this paper to like guarantee us this health insurance at this low plan. But I was like, I'm not going to buy your health insurance. But then he gets like, okay, what price do we have to get you at to get this health insurance? I was like, we don't really have a price. And then he's like, okay, well, how about this? We circle back in 3 days. You can think about it. And then we can try to land on a price that's cheap enough that you guys can afford. Because we can really bring it down so it's only like pennies a day that you're paying. And I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? I have your contact information. I'll circle back with it if I'm interested. And then he's like, well, let's just set up another call right now. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I eventually got off the call because I was like, this is a huge scam. And I looked it up and it's like this kind of this pseudo multi-level marketing scam that people do using these child safety kits. You sign up for one and then there's like fine print saying, we're going to sell you on some health insurance afterwards.
Yikes.
It was very strange, but I've had this happen before where like, and this is where the red flags went off at the very beginning, was being very friendly. I would get like somebody knocking on their door, and tell me if you've been through this, but you'll have like these two people show up and they'll be like, so do you think that like kids in Africa deserve to have good life? Do you think they deserve to have food? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, for $2 a month, you could feed them. So let's sign your credit card up right now. And then you're like, no, I'm not giving my credit card. And they're like, I thought you said kids deserve to have food and to live a good life. They try to like guilt you into it. Have you ever had those people come sell something like that at your house or wherever it is you live?
I think it's pretty common. It's a pretty common strategy for like door to door.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. When it's like door to door, but they always start off with like the same kind of scam where it's like, and I call it a scam because it's always super sketchy. I looked it up afterwards. It's usually impossible to cancel these charity donations that you're trying to do. They won't take cash. They need your credit card for some reason. And they always start off being super friendly. But I had red flags going off right at the beginning. And I talked to my wife afterwards and she's like, I had to tell her like, this whole thing's a scam. You can just tell. And she was like, I had no idea. Like, it just seemed like health insurance, which I can see the benefit in having. And, but I was like kind of like talking, I was like kind of explaining how it was like the scam. So like that happened this week. And then I was on the old school, this is how I circle it to old school RuneScape. I was on the old school RuneScape subreddit and I saw this video being posted of this like streamer who had like low amount of viewers, and he ended up getting, he got baited in a high risk world, in a PvP world, and lost his Ellie, his Elysian Spirit Shield to scammers. It's the whole guise of anti-scamming. Which made me think like, oh my God, it's like the perfect, this is why I can tell when there's like some sort of scam going on right away. Like I have like major trust issues from old school RuneScape to the point that like, even if something is probably like a good deal, I'm like not even touching it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to walk away. I don't care if you're going to offer me like a lifetime supply of hot dogs. There's probably some sort of scam going on here. So I just like literally drop everything and walk away. Whereas my wife, on the other hand, will get sucked into some of these things because she doesn't realize it. But yeah, so it kind of like brought me back to like, holy shit, like it's because of how many times I've been scammed in old school RuneScape. So the reason I bring it up, I was like, so much changed over the years. That's kind of what I want to talk about, is how like the scamming is. It's like our yearly or couple months of PSA of don't get scammed in old school RuneScape. But
I did work at a hotel for maybe like 6 months when I was younger. And there was a lot of scammers that would call to try and like get through to the rooms of people. And then they would pretend to be the front desk asking for your credit card information. It's basically like you just never give your credit card information to anyone unless you actually know they're trustworthy, and especially never give it to anyone over the phone.
Okay, yep.
I would say there was like rare cases where it's, okay to do so. Like, I don't know, you call your dentist and you want to pay over the phone or give them your credit card information. But if they call you first, then it's a lot sketchier, right?
Yeah.
But there are situations where you can do it. You just have to be like very, very vigilant about who you're giving your information to. And I also worked at a senior center for quite a while, right before I went into the teaching program. And that was a great job, man. I loved it. It was very fun. It was like a day center, so I did a lot of the planning, like the activities.
Oh, that's fun. Bingo. That's where the bingo comes from. We broke it. The bingo origin story.
Yeah, I'd go down and play some bingo once in a while, some shuffleboard. A little bit of bridge.
Oh, it was a bridge.
I actually didn't play bridge. It was way too scary for me.
Yeah, seniors go. My grandparents were hard into bridge, and they would always try to talk me and my brother into playing. And we're like, no, you're going to like destroy us, and it's going to feel bad.
Yeah, they go ham. So anyways, it was a great job, but I can't remember the point. Oh yeah, there's lots of scammers, and they would tell me about all the attempts that scammers would make, to try and get their money. And there was pretty sad ones because they would fall for it.
Yeah.
They call the classic with the grandparents is calling and pretending to be their like granddaughter or grandson. And like, oh, I need money, like blah, blah, blah. Don't you remember me? And they have a bunch of like vague lines.
Yeah, okay.
So I had a few ladies that would tell me these stories, and they were all like pretty sharp-witted ladies. They had like a good laugh. So they would like lead them on for a while to try and see what the scam was so they could tell their friends. But yeah, it's pretty brutal, but I've definitely seen some people fall for them.
Yeah, it's rough. I remember when I was in, and I guess RuneScape hasn't fully prepared me for all of this, but when I was in college, I want to become I don't know if I want to become a police officer, but I went into police foundations right out of high school. I was like smoking a lot of weed, and weed was not legal in Canada at the time. So I'm not really sure why I went to police foundations, but whatever, I did. And I had this political science teacher because we had a political science class for some reason. I don't know. I've no idea what was going on there, but he went on. He sent everyone an email saying he went on vacation and that he like lost his wallet and he needs all of his students to send him $50 so he can get home. And it turned out he got scammed or he got hacked or whatever it is, and it was just sending it out. But he never followed up and told everyone, "Hey, you had to find out in class." So I wonder if some people got sucked into that. I almost did because I wasn't doing well in that class. Yeah, actually, like, if I send him $50, maybe he'll pass me.
Jesus, stills. Yeah, you just have to you always have to be vigilant in this day and age. I mean, like there's always been scams, but now it's a little bit more, it's quite a lot easier to sort of see them. You see them more frequently.
Yeah.
I often get them to my phone where it's like, oh, your bill is out of date or whatever. Like obviously my phone number's been leaked somehow.
Yeah.
And then I'll get a text saying, "Oh, go to this link for your Bell Mobility." And some of them can look really official.
Yeah. Do you get air duct cleaning services?
No.
You don't. I get that. I'm not even kidding. Everyone I know in Ontario gets that call, and it's the same guy every time. You answer the phone, he'll just be like, "Air duct cleaning services," and you're just like, "I'm just gonna hang up." I don't really know what the scam is, but it definitely is a scam, and everyone I know gets it, but. Yeah, you got to be like well prepared. And like, I noticed when I saw that old school RuneScape video on the subreddit of the guy being anti-lured, it like kind of showcased how much like scamming has evolved. Because when I started playing, or when we started playing, and there's the meme of free armor trimming. That's the classic where somebody would offer to trim your armor because you didn't know how it gets trimmed, and they take your armor and they just keep it. The one that got me like way too many times back in the day was trust trading. Do you recall the trust trading scam?
Yeah, I fell for it. 100%.
Yeah, you'd have like a group of like 5 people, and the guy who's giving away a bunch of money, and he's basically like, whoever trades me over the most amount of GP, like worth of gear, wins like $1 million. So you're like, here's a rune plate, and then he sends it back, and then he's like,
but one of his friends would be in on the scam, right? So the person giving the most money. Yeah, it's a tough one. And you know what? I treat that one as a good lesson because in the end, it's just kids scamming kids, and it's fairly harmless. But yeah, there can be some rough ones out there.
Yeah, that one's pretty brutal. like today, it's much more social. And I remember listening to a podcast, maybe it was a video on YouTube about, they called it like, I think it's social hacking, where they were able to like, they're not hacking into like your bank account, or they're not stealing from your wallet, but they can like talk you into giving them a bunch of information and a bunch of money that they can use to then either hack into your account, or you just full and give them money and stuff. And it's kind of what happens with like this anti-luring, that, and people still fall for it, which is like crazy, because when I saw the video, I was like, people like can't keep falling for this.
Man, I think scams have just existed for as long as humans have existed.
Yeah, and people will keep falling because people get kind of greedy. And the whole idea of an anti-luring scam is that someone brings you to the high risk world. They put you through all of these loops of like, I'm going to give you something for free, but it's very obvious they're going to scam something for you. But then at the same time, you have somebody else private messaging you, or they come up to you and talk to you like, hey, this guy just scammed me, but I anti-scammed him. And I was able to get a bunch of shit. And this is what usually happens. This guy will come up and tell you this, and then he'll break it down, and you'll be like, oh, so we can easily trick him. But what they do is they usually have something that you're focusing on, and you think this is where they're going to trick you, but that's not where they're going to trick you. So for instance, the video that I saw was they brought him to this area, the Shanty Pass, and there's a safe zone right in, this is a PvP world. Safe zone right, the one tile at the bank is a safe zone. So they get you to go there, and they're like, this place is safe. Just don't ever leave this tile. That's all you need to do. Don't ever leave this tile and you won't die. So they kind of like try to build up your trust. And they give you this Pharaoh Scepter. And the Pharaoh Scepter, it used to have the left click. When you clicked it, would teleport you to one of the pyramids. But they changed that, so now it's you wield it when you click it. But where they try to get you to focus on is that they want you to think that they're going to get you by getting you to teleport to the pyramid. So you're like, okay, I just won't teleport with the scepter, and I'll be good. But meanwhile, they have you doing something else. For this specific scam, the guy was like, trade me as fast as you can, and I'm going to give you the gear. So you would put the gear in, trade, and then you would cancel it. And they kept doing it. And then the scammer walked underneath the guy, and then the guy went to trade it, which means he backed off the square that was safe, and then he got smoked. And then he lost his Ellie.
Yeah, so I think all scams basically rely on, well, these kinds of scams, when you know it's a scam, the scams rely on you thinking you can outsmart the scammers. Yeah. And it's just basically never going to happen.
No, everyone is in on it.
These guys are like pros. They've scammed for ages, and the scams continue to evolve. Current, like you said, the scams now involve old scams that everyone knows about just for misdirection.
Yeah, it is.
And there's
unreal.
Always some kind of like stall or some kind of new bank interface. You know, there's different safe zones. You never fully understand what's going on. The scammers know every single detail. So
that's how they make their money. The simple days of luring are over. They've been over for a while. But now you got these scammers.
Yeah, they're really elaborate. Just the best thing to do is to just not engage.
Yeah, never fall for anything like that. I talked about it before, but I had a guy who tried to do the same thing to me. But the way he talked me into it wasn't trying to misdirect me to another scam. He was like, I want you to show off your Tebow for my YouTube video. I was like,
yeah, I remember that
cool.
one. I was like 50-50 that you're going to lose your bow when you started getting into it.
No, that's the thing. Like, you never take the item out. In the video, it's super sad. Maybe I'll post it in the Discord, but the guy was like, I am 100% not taking the Ellie out of the bank. And then after a couple minutes, he's like, all right, I'll take it out for a second, but I'm going to put it right back in. And then that's when he loses it. It's sketchy. Those high risk world PvP worlds are sketchy. There's a whole lot of wacky mechanics going on. Just stay away. There's nothing that nothing good ever happens to it. But there's the little PS. I feel like we talk about the scamming every now and then, but I find it so interesting with old school RuneScape how like intense the scamming can be and how like all of us have been through it. And I meant to ask you at the beginning, but I know you probably talked about it. What motivated you from starting your Iron Man? Was it a scam? Because I know a lot of people get scammed or lured for an item, and then they quit their main and move on to their iron.
I would say number one reason people make an iron is because they lost all their money at the duel arena.
That's okay.
I would say number two is my category. You get you realize that the end game of mains quickly becomes how much money can I make before I get the next upgrade, whereas the end game of Iron Man is I'm going to go get all the items, which means I have motivation to do the content. Like my account's basically the same as mains at this point, but like you're working towards the gear, and then when you get it, it's way more fun than, oh, I just got a 500 mil drop. It's like, oh, I got this 200 mil drop, and it's huge for my account. So I was in that second category, and then I think third category, maybe people that have been scammed.
Yeah, fair enough. And I know for like someone who wants to stream, or maybe somebody who does stream old school RuneScape, people do kind of prey on like lower, small viewed Twitch streamers because they find it a way to like, it's easy to engage with them. You can maybe earn their trust easier because if you're it's the same thing. If you're super friendly, they're going to be like, oh, this dude's going to be like a reoccurring viewer. And then the problem that used to happen is people would slowly get personal information about you, and then they would recover your account. You're never safe anywhere. So, but at Old School RuneScape just prepares us for the real world of not getting scammed, which is fun.
It does. That's definitely something that it helps with.
Mm-hmm. Great stuff. All right. So not a whole lot going on for my account. It was one of my topics I want to talk about was scamming, but why don't we head on over to the news and we'll chat about what the hell's going on in this game. All right, we are back. Let's start off with Nex, because Nex is in the game. It's been in for a little bit now. It's kind of feels to me like it's old news, but you know what? We're here. People are still kind of grinding it, sort of. You're not, though. Because there's been a few nerfs that have happened.
I'm not, because it's not because I don't like it. Let's talk about the nerfs, and then we'll talk about my opinions.
Really, the major one is the Nex's loot table has been slightly altered. Do you have the actual numbers for us?
Yeah, so the old unique rate was 1 in 43 to get a unique to hit the table, and then you roll a 12-sided dice to see which item you get. So like, 1 and 2 would be Tour of a Helm, etc., etc. So 1 in 43, not a bad rate. And then if you're doing it in teams of 6, you basically, whatever your team size is, you multiply 43 by your team size, and that will give you your chance at the loot. Not exactly, because I think it is based on percentages, but that'll give you a rough idea. So if you're with 6, then you basically it's 1 in 240 to get a drop, just a little bit over. Whereas if you're in a mass with like 60 people, it's going to be 60 times 40. So maybe like, can't even do quick math in my head, but 1 in I guess 2,400 or something like that. So you'd have to kill way more next to get a drop. So 1 in those rates I was pretty happy with, because this took about 2.5 brews per kill, but we had the red X method at the time too, so it was pretty easy to farm.
Oh, yeah, that's gone.
Yeah, it is gone. And I didn't want all the items. I only wanted Torva and the bracers. I don't care about the horn. Like, it's a nice upgrade, but it's only really good at next and speed times. So, and it's not that important to me. Whereas the other 4 items I was into, the hilt didn't mean anything, and I think that was pretty much it. So
okay. And
then they nerfed it, so they added an extra 10. So it's now 1 in 53 to get a drop rate, to hit the drop rate. So they're adding a good 15-20% there on top, which is, it's tough. So now you go up to an extra 60 kills to see unique, remembering that, every kill is siphoning at least 3 brews off of you. It becomes a lot less feasible for me to justify doing it currently. There are a lot of Ironmen still doing it because it's like the only thing they have left to do. And fair enough, Torva's like really strong, so it's going to give you a lot of power in the game. But I'm just at the stage where I've got other things to do, and I just can't help but feeling that they're either going to probably not walk back the nerf, because that would be, it wouldn't look good on them. But I think they will eventually release some kind of mode where you can do it solo.
I think that's the way to do it, is to do it the solo mode.
Now, first of all, nerfing it is, if anything, I would have made the drop rates more frequent. Than 1 in 43.
See, like for me, when I hear it's 1 in 43 drop chance, that to me sounds very low. And a lot of people disagreed with me, but that seems like a very high chance for an item. When I look at Zulrah, it's like 1 in 128.
But you have to remember, it's a group boss. You have to kill it in a group.
So I'm wondering if like this might specifically be an iron problem, because for mains in a group of like 5, 10, 20, whatever it is, and you're splitting it out.
Yeah, I'd still be there if I was a main. Probably sending free for all worlds, mass worlds, trying to snipe one and get a lot of money.
Yeah, and if you're with a group of friends and you're splitting, that doesn't seem super bad. Like Bandos, I believe, what is it, 1 in 128 as well? Let me check. But so when I hear that's 1 in 43, to me that sounds like a lot. That sounds honestly that sounds like too much. Now, I said that in the Discord. People disagree with me, so I was like, I must be missing something here.
I have to hard disagree. It's just think about the amount of hours that you put in and the amount of kills you're getting per hour. Efficiently, it's going to be so low. You're talking like maybe 10 kills an hour now with a 6-man team, especially since they removed Red X, which I'm happy about.
10 kills an hour, so 4 hours for an item.
And then you're going to split it 6 ways. So even if you get a big item, it's 50 mil. So then every 4 hours, you're making like 12 and a bit mil, which is on par with something like Corrupted Gauntlet, which is still disgusting money, even though it's been in the game for ages and Next is brand new and these items are only going to go down. Now, there's also the fact that I talked to some friends about this between like the thing, oh, should you or should you not allow Iron Men to come with you? Because if they get the item and they're free-for-alling, blah, 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 they're going to get it. It's totally fully within the rights of any main doing group content to be like, hey, I don't really want to raid with irons that can't split. Like that's totally up to you. You want to split, that's totally fine. Especially at a boss like this where, okay, yeah, if I do get the drop, like an Iron Man gets the drop, a Torva Helm to the Iron Man is a slight upgrade, right? It's a +2 strength bonus. But a Torva Helm is like, 250 mil for a main. That's a lot more than what it's worth to the Iron Man. So
it is a permanent upgrade, though. See, this is where like I guess this is specifically an iron problem, because of course this affects irons a lot. Where like, okay, that the time sink it's going to take to get the items is pretty crazy. Now, if you make the drops even more like frequent, then the price is going to, like, I was surprised to see how quickly Torva dropped in price on day one. I was expecting it to be like a lot of money, whereas like 6, 7, 8 hours in, it's already dropped down to about 500 mil for the legs. I was surprised to see that, but
yeah, I mean the content is accessible though. Like you basically just need a crossbow and you can get in there. So that's one of the reasons that they were never going to be as expensive as things like Inquisitor, even, or other items that came out early on release, like Theater of Blood. Like that content is hard to do. It has a gear gate and a skill gate. Next doesn't. You just click the boss and you get a chance at the loot.
It's tough. Like, what do you do in that situation where like making the drops in
slot armor too? Right?
It is the best in slot armor. Do you make it much like more realistic for irons to get, but then it's going to cause it to be a much cheaper item, like because more of them are just coming into the game? Or like, do you
look? I'm not saying it should be free for Iron Man. Like I'm okay with it being hard and taking maybe 3,000 KC to complete or something. Like I'm totally okay with that. It's end game gear, but the fact that like it was already fine where it was, and the rationale behind their decision I think was just quite poor. Like there are too many items coming into the game. It's like, well, there's not going to be this many people killing Nex in 3 weeks. It's going to be significantly less, and the item flow will slow down, and the prices will balance.
Really, the game is like being made around main accounts, and then you try to tweak things so that it fits for irons. But I see the same problem with PvP, where like they bring out these items, and you might want a strong item, but how do you make it not so strong that people are getting one bombed in PvP? It's like this weird balance where what they did with PvP is they started, okay, well, this weapon works differently in PvP, and it's like not a great fix because it gets confusing, and you're like, why is my blowpipe so much slower in PvP? And I think the one way they do fix this is, and you kind of tease at the beginning, is making a solo mode like Fasani's Nightmare. You can call it Fasani's Next Fight Battle 3000. And you can have the drop rates. You can have the fight much harder, maybe make it quicker and make the drops more accessible for solo players. This way it kind of helps with irons. And it also makes so that, well, maybe the more efficient way to get it is through with groups.
The content was good where it was. Man, I'm just disappointed, man. I'm not really sure. what to say. Like, even if I was a main, I'd be disappointed. Like, yeah, sure, we had Red X and so we could stall out the boss, but they removed that. It's it's a disappointing one.
It sucks, but I much prefer this versus what they used to do, where they would just leave something broken. And not saying that Next was broken before, but when something is broken, they would just leave it in the game for like a year. When Zulrah used to shit out money like crazy, like whatever money it had now it had like 10 times the amount. I'm exaggerating, but they left it in for like a year and then they gutted it 2 or 3 times. And now it's like at a part where it's like, it's okay money, not like what it used to be. So now what they did with this one is like they kind of jumped on it quicker. I guess they have on their end more information than us. They see more items coming into the game. So they saw, okay, this is happening too much. Now on the counter, they have this grand exchange tax. You could buy more of the Torva and just delete them from the game. That's what they're doing with some of these items. They could have done that, but I don't.
And like, it's brutal. I saw some like rough. I haven't done like the actual math, but Iron Queen and a few of the people in solitary PVM, which is like the Oblivion for Iron Men. They I was just reading some of the things they're saying on Twitch. Like, she was saying it's like 20,000 brews to complete next now. Like 20,000 brews on average in like a 6-man team. And I'm sitting here with like, and I've seen her account. It's absolutely disgusting. I think she has like 44 or 45 pets on her Iron Man. She has 10,000 brews.
Yeah.
So like, what are you going to do?
They have some,
it's a tricky situation. And I'm not saying they should, build the game around Iron Man, but it needs to be accessible for a lot of people. And they are now a significant portion of the population. I really like how Chambers is designed.
Yeah.
The damage that you deal, you get that much gold back. So, or you get that much value back in the drop chance. So like, let's say I have max gear and my 2 friends are noobs and I take them on a Chambers of Xeric. I'm going to get 50% of the drop chance because I did 50% of the damage, which makes sense because they have bad gear. But more recently, they've been designing stuff like, Tob as well, which is, I think, poor design in general. And the drop rate is stupid. So if you and your 2 friends have scythes and you take an Iron Man, they're still going to have, like, as long as they don't die, they're rewarded for that. So they could have, if they're in max gear and basically for an iron with no scythe, they're not going to get any room MVPs. And you're going to have the same drop chance as like a level 40 who came through with an iron dagger and just didn't die, which is silly. So it's rewarding just staying alive. But anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about.
The one thing that sucks about irons is that there are some unhealthy grinds that it's part of the reason why I haven't jumped on the iron, because I'm going to hit these grinds I'm going to hate. One of them being the Dragon Warhammer. To me, this might be an unpopular opinion, but to lock a really important item behind a 1 in 5,000 drop chance is like, that's 0.0002% of getting that every kill. That is like, that's so dumb. They should have a shaman boss, make the fight 5 minutes, but then make it so you have like a 5% chance of getting it, whatever it is. But
yeah, that's the Dragon Warhammer is a whole different thing. And the reason that makes that one feel so bad is because you basically need, not so much anymore, but you really do need it to move on with content. It unlocks the late game or at the end game. I don't know, late game. It unlocks raids for you, which are really important to progress your account. So without the Dragon Warhammer, you can't do anything. It's like a minimum 50-hour grind, unless you get lucky. But on average, you're looking at 50 hours, constant supply drain when your supplies maybe aren't that great.
It's so I don't know why they add that sort of stuff in and then they just kind of leave it. I guess nobody could really complain. I'm the only one complaining on it. I'm on my little soapbox here complaining about it.
I wish there was other, but like in the end of the day, it's like only 50 hours compared to some of the grinds you do on your account. It's not that bad, but in the moment it does feel really bad.
Feels bad. And sure. Also I just don't find shamans that fun to do. They're like not AFK, but they're also not super engaging. Their engagement
level is that awkward middle ground, like Motherlode Mine. It's a few others.
Anyways, yeah. So I think you know what? Don't make anyone listen. Don't make an Iron Man because Iron Man suck. That's why. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they suck. Don't do it. No, they're great. They're great. They really are. They really are.
The highs are high, but the
yeah,
lows are low. Yep, that's next. Next be crazy. What's next for next? Well, I think those puns are overdone. But we can move on because we got some fun stuff coming up down the pipeline. Okay, so we got leagues dropping this Wednesday. It looks like it's coming out at what did they say 12 p.m. GST. Anyways, the servers are going to be going down for like an hour and a half while they get everything loaded, which that sucks. What am I going to do? Not play RuneScape apparently.
It'll be coming out at like what 7 in the morning for you.
They're aiming for leagues to go live at 12 GMT. That's 7 a.m. So that's perfect. They say they're aiming for it, so there's a chance it might get delayed, but 7 a.m. looks to be the time for you Easterners out there, or 4 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. And you'll have to convert it for yourself if you live somewhere else. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm not at a point in my account where I'm like really pulled into a bunch of content that I don't want to step away. I do want to step away. I need a little bit of a breather. That's what Leagues is great for. A lot of people are like, they want to do Leagues, but if you're still having fun on your account, you're not going to fully enjoy Leagues, I don't think. Leagues works great if you like need to take a break from the base game. And for a lot of people, they don't necessarily need to. So yeah, but what Leagues, if you're listening and you're like, I don't know what Leagues are, basically Leagues is this new seasonal game mode that they started coming out with. This is the third iteration called the Shattered Relics. It's that music you heard at the beginning. We're going to play it again because I'm pretty hyped for it. I don't know what it is. I kind of know what it is, but I don't quite know what it is, if you know what I mean. But Leagues is like this new type of game mode that lasts about 6 weeks. It has accelerated experience rates. It has accelerated drop rates. You start off at level 3, but you will quickly level up as you're getting like 5 times experience. And they have this weird restrictions. You're like basically playing a private server, but it's really polished. And it's like a private server mixed with like a mini game. So for this one, you only have access to the fishing, thieving, and one other combat skill. Oh, I might be missing something. I got to pull up that video again that I played last week, but you get to start off, you get all your skills are locked except for a couple, but you could choose one combat skill to unlock. So really people are going to be choosing between ranged or mage. I might go magic because I think most people are going to be going ranged. So I want to be a little bit different, a little snowflake. I want people to, wow, this guy's casting magic spells. So you can start with that. And then as you're playing it and doing these other skills you have a whole bunch of tasks and like these tasks you can do. And when you complete a task, you'll get some league points or shattered points. I forget what they're calling it, but you'll get these points you can spend. And so, you complete a quest, you might get 10 points. You get your skill to level 10, you might get 10 points. Get to level 25, you might get 15 points. If you kill a boss, you might get blank points. So you get these points, which you can then spend it to unlock new skills, and you can spend it to actually unlock bosses, because all the bosses are going to be locked behind these walls that you need to spend points to unlock. Anyways, that's kind of it in a nutshell. There's also these perks you get. This is what makes it really fun. You get these perks of like that they do these like really wacky things. Like you can just do more damage. You can run and never run out of energy. You can teleport from the last place you were. So what that means is if you were, I don't know, at a boss and you need to teleport out to the bank, you teleport to the bank, but then you click your perk thing and you teleport right back to that boss that you were at. So you can do things really quickly. And there is a bunch of stuff that you can unlock, like those like little perks. And what's cool about this season is you can customize them. So if you when you picked a perk, you were locked in, you could never change it. And some people picked perks that just sucked. You had to choose out of like 1 out of 3. Now you can collect them and you can equip like 4 of them at a time. There's going to be a limited amount that you can actually equip, but you can really load out whatever content you're looking to do, you can set up something that's going to be optimal for it. And yeah, you grind, and then these points that you get to unlock stuff count as your league points, which will then put you in the high scores. After the league's done, you can spend that points and you can get cosmetics, which will be worth a bunch of money, or you can climb the rankings with those league points as well. And then if you're in the top, I don't know, 1%, you get dragon ranking, or top 10, whatever percentage you land in, you'll get trophies to go with it. And these are actually the only discontinued items we have in the game. So if you get a trophy a dragon trophy for Leagues 3 and other people don't, they can never get that trophy. So it's kind of neat.
Okay, people just call you a nerd. So.
Yeah, you little sweaty little nerd. And you know what? You wear it with pride. I land in Mithril every time. That's the biggest pool. If you ever played League of Legends, that's like silver, where everyone just lands in silver. Everyone lands in Mithril in RuneScape. So yeah, you said you might play, but I guess you're not feeling too compelled to play leagues this season, eh?
No, I never have. There's so much stuff to do on the Iron, so.
Is that so? You have a whole. So you're still you're so pulled into the Iron that you don't feel. You feel like you would be losing time by going to your leagues account, right?
Yeah, or I would start playing leagues and feel like I'd rather just play my Iron Man.
That's fair, yeah.
But you know what? I will log in and give it a go this time.
Yeah,
I promise that. Last times I didn't even log in. I didn't even try it, but this time I'm going to. At least for the pod, I'll play for a day. We'll see how it goes.
One thing that I always log in as well. I play it, I have fun, I get lost, and I never make it far in the game because I can't dedicate enough time to climb the ranks, to unlock and unlock a bunch of cool stuff. So I'm just gonna randomly AFK this or that, and then I kind of get bored and kind of like what you're saying. I'm like, I'm just gonna go on my main account because I don't know what I'm doing. But this time around, I've learned I need to set a goal going in because I'm not going to be able to get. I don't think I'll be competitive and get the dragon ranking. Maybe I can try. We'll see. But that can't be my main because that's really hard. You're competing with those streamer boys who are like on caffeine.
Alfie, who plays 18 and a half hours a day.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing every single day. And that's a tough one. You really got to go hard. But
by the way, Alfie's played his hardcore group Ironman 18 hours a day for 100 days straight. Gaming.
That's really he's been logged in for
18 hours a day for 100 days straight. He has a higher total level than my Ironman now.
That is not healthy. Because that means you're getting 6 hours of sleep, which means you're probably getting 4.5 hours of sleep because you got to eat, got to use the washroom, presumably shower, brush your teeth, and all that. You don't have to.
Wow, there's a lot of presumablys going on here. But I mean, I think he eats while he plays for sure.
You guess you just order it?
No, his girlfriend cooks.
Wow,
because she also plays RuneScape. She also streams. Yeah,
it's a power couple right there.
Yeah, the power couple. But yeah, I don't know. It's not much sleep, man.
Yeah.
But Alfie's never slept, so. I played against him in League quite a few times because we were about the same rank. We were both low diamond when we were playing back then. Yeah, he's a mid laner. He plays Lux only. So I had him on my teams quite a few times.
Oh boy.
He's not bad actually. He's pretty good.
Diamond's gonna be pretty good. The lack of sleep thing is hard. Since the baby's been home, I've flipped my schedule around. I've been playing this. I sleep at 7 p.m. So it's past my bedtime right now. Spoiler alert. Not really spoiler alert, but behind the scenes. We'll do a little behind the scenes each episode. So I go to sleep at 7 and then I wake up at 3 a.m. and then I stay up and I work and I play video games. And it's actually, I kind of like it. It's really nostalgic to be playing RuneScape and the sun's coming up. It reminds me of being in high school. Great stuff. So yeah, sleep is important. Now, here's a cool thing about leagues, going back to leagues. Nothing really carries over besides the league points into the main game. But one thing that's really cool is that future leagues that happen, if you unlock a pet in this league, the next league, you'll still have that pet. So that's really cool. I really like how they did that because there are sometimes, you're not gonna be able to unlock every boss. So you have to choose what boss you want. So if you want to unlock pets for the next league, then you need to choose properly. You need the path to get to that boss. And what is neat is in the future league, if that area is locked and you have the access to that pet, people are going to be like, whoa, that's pretty neat. Because I know I saw people with this pet and you're like, wow, you must have gotten that from the first league. That's sick. So I really like how pets carry over. That's what I'm going to be working towards, is getting pets, I think. I really like Scorpia, so I might work towards getting Scorpia. I got to see, though. Do I go for the pets I really like and I don't have in the main game? That might feel bad because then I don't have it on my main. Or do I go get the pets I really like and I already have? That's a tough one.
Yeah, either way, that's a tough one. If I do play, my goal will be, it's good. I think you're right. You do need to have a goal with this kind of thing.
Yeah, otherwise you get lost and then you quit.
I'm going to go for a certain amount of points so I could get whatever reward I wanted on my account.
Yeah, there's some really cool ones.
For example, I've mentioned the house from the original Trailblazer League. Or was it Twisted League? I can't remember. I never remember the names. They're too close to each other. But whatever the original like dark house was,
okay,
I really like that. So the only way I could get it is getting points. I think it's like 6,000. So that would be my first goal. And then if I like maybe the tentacle whip or something, I might go for that, or the cannon. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, there's some really nifty ones. That's a cool thing too. As an iron as well, get those cool cosmetics. So there, boom, League's happening Wednesday. But the day before Leagues is happening, we have something else that's going to be premiering. Not totally sure what it is, but I play at the beginning. I'll play it again here. This is the Between Two Worlds teaser trailer. It's a 15-second little clip from Definitely a Song. And the world premiere is happening on January 18th, Tuesday at 5 p.m. EST on YouTube. And yeah, it has a little clip of somebody riding down the River of Souls. So this is definitely linked to Leagues because it has the same aesthetic as Leagues does. The whole Shattered Relic theme. And if you queue up for the premiere, it says Between Two Worlds, Tal Richards featuring Seal and Bizarre Star Strings. So I looked it up. Tal Richards seems to be some sort of EDM producer. At least he makes some EDM music. Bizarre Star Strings, they're like a cello group. They stringed instruments. Seal is not the Seal that you might know, the British singer-songwriter, born in 1963.
That's what I thought of immediately.
Kiss from a Rose. Yeah. Hello, imagine.
It's like, man, they're reviving the career.
How much are we paying Jagex for this shit if they can hire Seal to be part of this song? No, this is spelled with a C, and was a bit harder to find any information on.
Knockoff Seal.
Yeah, it's budget Seal. So anyways, it should be exciting.
That's so good.
So yeah, this looks like it might be a song that they're kind of putting together. It will be happening tomorrow, so that'll be covered on the next episode. But yeah, I'm kind of excited because that seems very weird in a way that I am excited for. So like, what is it? Who knows? But the song is pretty dope. Okay, anything else before we head on over to we take a break and then come back?
No, let's do it.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break and we are heading on over to the Grand Exchange. So much wackiness going on there. The Grand Exchange is where the scams happen. It just tends to be. And so what's crazy as well, I've been I started a burnt food collection. Just because I'm bored and I have the space for it now, and it's kind of fun to do it. It's kind of fun. I'm going to talk about it next episode, but let's talk about it a little bit here because it's freaking hilarious. First off, I go to free to play and I buy burnt food off people because free to play people keep their burnt food for whatever reason, and they get really jazzed up to see I'm buying it for 100 gold each. I don't know what the going rate is. 100 gold seems fair. I hope it is. But anyways, they get all jazzed up for it. But so many beggars and people at the Grand Exchange, they'll just see you in full rune, and they see you, wow, you can afford full rune? You can definitely buy me a bond. And they'll just follow you being like, Dills, give me a bond, please. And it's like, oh my God, I'll be trying to buy burnt food and they'll come up and trade me, and then they'll be like, bond, please. They just ask for it, but they don't even try to sweet talk you. They don't make you feel good. They just ask you for a goddamn bond, and you're like, is that all I'm good for? Like, at least, you know, it's wine and dine, right? At least kind of butter me up a little bit if you're gonna ask for a bond. Tell me how cool I look, or compliment me on my RuneScape physique. Tell me how cool my account is. Be like, whoa, you got 99 strength. Damn, boy. just do something. But no, that's usually not what happens. And they just ask you straight for a bond. And it has to work in order for why would you spend so much time? And so many people are doing it. You got like 10 people asking for bonds. Clearly, one noob got a bond one day from asking, and he told all of his friends, and they told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and now we're at the state it is today. But the funniest thing when I was buying burnt food is I met this one guy, I'm definitely going to bring this up on a future podcast. I wrote down on my notes, but I record this after we record the podcast. I didn't bring it up this episode clearly, but I kind of want to talk about it because it's really funny. So I met this low level free to play player, and I bought a bunch of burnt food off him, and he was like super like excited. I gave him like 20K for a bunch, and he was like really excited, and he added me. He's like, I'll keep getting you burnt food. And I was like, sweet. So then he messaged me and he's like, I got some more burnt food. So I went to free to play to meet him, and I saw him talking to somebody else, and he was just like, yeah, if you get me burnt food, I have a guy I sell it to, and we'll split the money. And so then he was like, it became like almost like a pyramid scheme, except for instead of the top making money, the top is losing. But he like was recruiting people underneath him to give him burnt food that he would then sell to me, and they'd split the profit. And I thought it was like so funny. And instead of me going like, why don't you just sell directly to me? I was like, I love the idea of like this burnt food cartel being run in free to play. There's like all these people. It reminds me of back in the day. What would happen is I'd be out usually mining coal from Al-Khalid, right? We gotta pronounce it properly apparently. I would be out there mining coal there, and it's so far from a bank, you would find people who would recruit you into these mining companies. Now that I think about it, it's like just slave labor is what they kind of recruit you for, but you'd be a part of this mining company where you would mine coal. Instead of banking, someone would come pick it up, they'd give you some money, you'd go back to banking, and they'd run it back. And then you realize that they're making a lot of money just for like doing not much. But it reminds me of those days, but I don't know what the going rate for burnt food is. I gotta find out, but I like to think it's the opposite. I'm like the Costco, right? Back in the day, it was like Walmart. That's what when the mining companies was like Walmart, where everyone's getting screwed except for the guy at the top. I'm like Costco, where I'm taking a very reasonable income, and I'm giving and taking care of the people below me. That's what I always hear about Costco. You get taken care of at Costco. It's been like a dream job of mine since I was like 15. Never been able to get there, but goddamn, I friggin' love Costco. This is becoming a Costco ad. They don't sponsor this show. That'd be sweet. They should. But everyone there is so happy. Except for one time they were very mean to me. But that's a story for another time. Not really. They were just mean to me. There's really not much story there. But yeah. All right, off the rails a little bit. Guys, if you want to support the show and help out a little bit, help keep the lights on and the heat on during these cold months over here in Canada, you can go to patreon.com/TheWildernessPodcast. Where you can support. We have a few different tiers, but we do a little bit of bonus content, and some of it will also have early access to like public bonus content whenever that happens. They're very far and few in between, but when they do happen, you'll get there first. And yeah, you get my sincere gratitude, because I can't appreciate it enough. Is that how you would say it? Can't thank you guys enough, because it really does help. There were some costs that happen behind the scenes for podcasting. Apparently, it's not like YouTube. It's like this weird, supposed to be this weird, what's the word? Decentralized. But then really everyone listens to it on Spotify or Apple, so it's. Anyways, whatever. There's competition at least. But you guys help cover those costs, and I really do appreciate that. And you also allow us to do a bunch of fun giveaways. We get to give away bonds with Skill of the Week each week. Well, most weeks. We also have fun events like Bingo, where we do take a lot of people do donate money in the community as well, which is like crazy. I'm like, I don't know where the hell you guys get all this money. But I always buy some bonds to donate them as well, and you guys help out a ton with that. So you guys are helping buy those bonds, and I really do appreciate it and giving it back to the community. And yeah, it's great. So yeah, thank you guys a ton. And one of the things you get is you get a special thank out, because they're the top tier supporters. And I can't think of any rewards that are kind of worth it for people in that tier. But people are supporting in that tier, and it kind of blows my mind. I don't quite get it, but I really appreciate it. So I kind of have to single you guys out a little bit until I figure out what is worth the top tier Patreon tier. Merch, maybe one day? I don't know. Anyways, it's a real thinker. It's a real thinker, that one is. So thank you, Gentinu, Splemo, Szechuan, Strosity, Mallard, Twisted Soul, J Blast, Z-Space, Chandler, and Yay Fiber. And thank you to everyone else who does support the show as well. But if you don't want to use Patreon, but you do want to support the show anyways, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/dills. You can do a one-time donation. And of course, some people have elected to go the Discord route because we have a Discord server that I pimp out like 3 times an episode now, but discord.gg/thewilderness. And some people wanted to boost the server and give us, that 1080p quality when streaming, and to give us extra 250 reactions or emojis. What do you call them? I don't know. Discord calls them reactions because emojis is so zoomery. But we have 250 of them, and you get some gifts you can add to it. How fun is that? But most importantly, you get that unique URL, and it makes it real easy for joining. So come on and hang out. We do a bunch of fun stuff. We play Magic the Gathering, where we play like board games or Dungeons and Dragons. It's a lot going on there, and anyone's welcome. So come say hi. If you see me hanging out in the voice chat channel, jump in and say hello. Sometimes I just sit there by myself and people pop in and we chat for a bit. One time I was streaming, nobody was in there, and I went to bed, and it kept me logged in on Discord in the voice chat. And then I had a meeting the next day, and I streamed the whole meeting. Somebody told me that I was streaming all night, so that was interesting. Anyways, yeah, you might catch that. Maybe not. Okay, guys, I think I hit them all. Let's get back onto the episode, and so stoked for leagues to come out. Anyone who does hang on the Discord, I'm going to be in the voice chat for most of the day. I got a few appointments to do, but I'll be in the voice chat channel, so come on, hang out, and let's play some leagues together. Not League of Legends, Leagues 3 Shadow Relics. Okay, we are back from our break. But before we wrap the show, we got an email. Guys, I really like emails. So if you got something you want to ask us or tell us, whatever it is, send it over to TheWildernessPodcast@gmail.com. And of course, we have an email from Matakos1, the illustrious question asker. I don't even know if that's a word, but it sounds like it should be. And I think I've heard people use it in the same context. If that's offensive, I apologize. I don't know what that means. But he says, first off, can I express how much I loved the last podcast? Stories were hilarious. The lore was great. Email answers were spot on.
Wait, did you say illustrious?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Do you mean illustrious?
I don't know what either of those words mean, but it sounded good.
Illustrious is like a well-known person.
See, there it is.
Or something.
I don't know what words mean, but I hear people using the context, and I'm like that.
Yeah, but you absolutely butchered. I wasn't even sure what you were saying. You butchered the pronunciation on that one. You said illustrious. It's illustrious.
You know what? I didn't even know that was a word going into it, so we really took a chance.
I couldn't even correct you because I didn't know what you were saying.
Just out there Googling as hard as you can. You're doing like voice to text. I'm not quite sure, but yeah. Anyways, that's okay. And he says, here's a question for this episode: if the Grand Theft Auto game were to be based on RuneScape area or city, which would it be? He says, okay, he's gonna give us some ideas here, and we can't use his answer then. I think East and West Ardon would be awesome. Basically, one side of the city is rich and the other side is poor, diseased mess. The market could provide for some awesome GTA destructive times. Take care, stay warm, try to catch some disease despite the baby. Matakos 1. Okay, so if you ever play the Grand Theft Auto games?
Yeah, I love them.
They're so good. San Andreas is my all-time favorite. I still go back and play it. I have it on my phone. It's so good. But yeah, where would you choose an old school RuneScape? Like, where would if GTA were set in RuneScape, where would you set it? I mean, my first one is like Varrock. Varrock's really big.
Yeah, it's also a little dirt. Like, it's got like multiple sections to it. It's not just all clean. There's like a poor neighborhood. You've got the rich neighborhood. You've got the castle.
Yeah, you go pick up, the sex workers there, right, with your car, and then you murder them for your money. That's what everyone does.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
you do you, Dills.
What I used to love to do, I would pick them up in my car, and then I would send them off jumps. I would stay in the car as well. But
Jesus,
it would be fun. I never did anything like X-rated, but we would just go off like jumps and stuff, and sometimes I'd bail out of the car.
Jump out the car and hit the parachute. Yeah.
Oh, fun
Oh,
stuff.
you're really savage.
Oh, those games.
Yeah, I think Varrock is the easy go-to because it has such like a nice, balance of types of places. But I think all the other cities are pretty like monotone.
I don't know
and quite
where
boring.
I read it.
Artie would be decent too because you got like the split between the west and the
Artie's
east.
the good one. Yeah, because then you have the west area that you unlock when you do a few missions. Like then you get access to it. And you get this whole like kind of gross area that you're like, this is cool, and you're like, it's not actually. It's like in San Andreas when you unlock the trailer park area where all the hillbillies and all that shit is.
And you can make some big money though. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got the underground pass if you want to, go a little further.
Yeah. So I think Falador might be okay. Actually, it's too like it's got too much of a military presence. Oh, the army base though. Falador could be like the army base that when you walk over that Falador bridge, the White Knight Castle, you instantly get the 5 stars and they come running at you with their 2-handers. Could work. I forget where I read it, but I thought it was really interesting. I have the RuneScape novels. There's 3 of them, and we did a book club for like a solid month, and then everyone got lazy and didn't read the book. But there's 3 novels in this RuneScape series, and it's actually not bad. It's not like a chapter spent of someone chopping wood. It's actually pretty good, and what's really cool about it is that it like makes these like small, easy, accessible in-game items, but they make them seem like super rare. So it starts off with like this person is about to die, but then the Ring of Life saves them, and everyone's like, "Yo, what the fuck was that? How the hell does that guy have?" And this one's like, "It's a Ring of Life," and it's like, "How the hell does that guy have a Ring of Life?" It's kind of cool. But it like really built out the world. So it starts off in Falador, and then he needs to bring the Ring of Life, I think it was, to a druid in Taverley. And it takes him 2 to 3 days of walking there, so it's like, that's kind of gives you a scale of how far it is. And it's like, oh, that's really neat. I'm going to go back and read them soon because there's some interesting stuff that I hear people talking about that I'm like, that sounds cool. So with Varrock, it's like this huge, so in game, it's like, it's big compared to the other cities, but it's like small. There's like, 20 buildings or something? Like, it's not really that many buildings. There's like 8 houses that people are living in, maybe a little bit more, but this is like not that much for it to be a major metropolis, right? But I was reading that Varrock in game, it's only got the essentials for us to interact with. So it'll have a few houses, it'll have like the blacksmith that we need, all that stuff. But in reality, Varrock is much, much bigger. I don't know what reality this is, but there's at least 10,000 people that live in Varrock. And it is much bigger than it. The slums is like the biggest part of Varrock. It's supposed to be, and it's like this massive area with a huge city watch.
Have you seen Arcane?
No, I haven't.
The show?
Is it good?
It's really good. So it's, for those of you who don't know, League of Legends, which the game is made by Riot Games, and they made a TV show called Arcane, which is incredible. Even if you haven't seen or played if you haven't played League of Legends, it's still a good game.
I've heard tons of people love it.
It's still a good, it's still a good show. Yeah, it's really, really good. My girlfriend absolutely loved it. Like, she was in tears in multiple episodes.
Nice.
So it's a good one. Yeah, and maybe we'll have our own shitty version of that one day. By a little Smokey.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I mean, I feel like we have the content creators for it. One thing I've been wanting to do for a while now was make play D&D in the RuneScape world. And I talked about it a long time ago in the podcast. And I've like slowly been kind of working towards like getting assets together, because one day I still want to do that. But one thing I want to do is learn the scale of how big RuneScape actually is. So like, if Falador to Taverley takes 2 days, how long would the trip from Falador to Ardone take? Is that like realistic for a group? Is White Wolf Mountain like, is that some like Lord of the Rings style journey? You know what I mean? Where it's going to take you three movies. So anyways, what was my point? The world of RuneScape is like kind of cool when you start learning about how things are out, like, but not in game. It's kind of fun to think that like Falador to Taverley is quite far. Yeah, some cool stuff. So yeah, I think Varrock is the place to have GTA. Because if it is as big as it's supposed to be, 10,000 people, you got the slums, you got the Grand Exchange, you got the castle to mess around with. Maybe you include some of the wilderness. Maybe that's like the dunes. They always add like the sandy dunes as the last piece of area you unlock in Grand Theft Auto. So maybe you can have that as the wilderness. I think that's the move. Yeah. Anyways, great stuff, guys. Thank you so much, Matt, for sending over your questions. Always a joy. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, if you got any more emails, that email is TheWildernessPodcast@gmail.com. We have an in-game clan called Wild. Get in touch with someone to get in. It's like a weird way to actually join the clan, but you can join as a guest. Someone can invite you in if you're into that. And our Discord is discord.gg/thewilderness. Yeah, I think that's it. Anything you want to say before we skedaddle? We did get a song request.
Oh, nice. Yeah, come join the Discord. It's a good community.
Great stuff. Yeah, okay, so we got a song request from Dr. Feelgood. And he says, I got a song request for Eagle's Peak. I think it's the prettiest song I've ever heard in this game, and it reminds me of a Disney film.
Awesome. Thank you, Feelgood.
It is unlocked at Eagle's Peak, of course. Despite its hints, players can unlock the track without starting the Eagle's Peak quest. The song sounds similar to level up jingles for the Hunter skill, and it came out in 2006. Yeah, all right, great stuff. So I guess that about does it for us, and we'll see you guys. See you on the next one. Might even see you in leagues if you're playing.
Oh yeah, take care.